This is a day for enlightenment, education, empowerment, and unity. So our next speaker founded what I think, from my observation, is the largest, most active, boots on the ground political action group in Hawaii today. And we're so grateful that Aloha Freedom Coalition is here today. Now, Gary Cotery, who'll be speaking in a moment here, I had some very heart-to-heart conversations with that amazing man who loves God. He's a sovereign American who knows where he woke up this morning. And he knows that truth is sovereign. And I love everybody in Aloha Freedom Coalition because they know that true science, not fake science, is what matters. Truth is sovereign, and we hold people, judges, police, politicians, everybody in accordance to the law. So Gary, where'd he go? Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Gary Cotery, the founder of Aloha Freedom Coalition. There's his Laohana. Thank you very much, Gary.
Wow, what a wonderful invitation, Gene. Thank you. You got to love his heart, right? How many give a hand for Gene this morning, this afternoon? Give him a warm hand. It takes a man to stand. Right, we stand together, but somebody had to have a vision for this event, and it was Gene. He, like he said, he called me a couple of months ago, right? Maybe a little longer than that, came to my house. We had great fellowship. Understand that we shared what really matters to people, and that's the fact that we're all created in God's image. And the fact that we're created in God's image actually creates a type of unity that allows each one of us to love and honor who we are, not based on what we do, where we've been, what our title is. It's based, our value of who we are is based on the fact we're created in His image. That creates a platform for unity that we can all stand on together. You agree? This stand that we're sharing this morning or this afternoon is really about liberty. The possibility for people to live free. It's not just a local Hawaiian scenario, condition, it's national. And as you've seen, this uprising of the people standing against tyranny is global. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you seen the news lately? Have you seen Australia? Have you seen New Zealand? Canada? Honolulu? Maui? The Big Island? Every one of these locations are filled with people who long for liberty. They long to be free, to exercise their own God-given rights, to raise their family they want to be raised, to bring life to the land, to honor one another. But that's not what we're experiencing. Over the last couple of years, it's become more than evident that our government has decided, when I say our government, I'm talking about the Square House right downtown, they have decided the haves and the have-nots. They have set up government in such a way that those of you who long for liberty no longer have access to government. Your voice doesn't matter. I hate to say that. It comes out of my mouth and it just makes me sick. 50% of our people, you and the people in this state, don't vote. Over 50% in some cases. This represents the systemic problem that the people know that their vote doesn't matter. I want to ask you by raise of hands, who of you think your vote matters? Raise your hand. If your vote matters, raise your hands. Your vote matters. Your vote does matter. So let me ask you this. Do you think your vote matters to the people in the Square House? No, it does not matter. How do you know this? Because the legislators and the governor of this state no longer listen to the people. Our government, this government in this state, is designed to be by the people and for the people. It is designed that your voice matters. The run that we have for governor does actually have its roots in some degree to AFC. I'm super grateful for everybody that's here. I haven't met the tents over here yet, but I'm grateful for these are from the Big Island. Who's from the Big Island here? Big Island people. All right. I know Gene's there. How about Maui? Who's from Maui? I know this tin over here is Maui. Lanai. Who's from Lanai? Kauai. Molokai. Where are you from, folks? This is your life. Papakolea, that's right. That's the other island right over here. I'm just asserting today that we stand together as one. You know, when God made the garden, Kim and I were coming over the Poly this morning, my wife Kim. We're coming over the Poly and we're just taking in the beauty of God's creation. Honestly, it boils down to that. And I was reminded that He gave the responsibility to tend this garden to man. That we're to be stewards. That we're to steward the garden of God. And the greatest aspect of the garden of God is His greatest creation, you and I. You and I are the joy that He has made. So how we tend with each other. In soccer, our kids grew up playing soccer. I have adult daughters, Rachel and Erica. We traveled playing soccer, and I recall the game of soccer that when the ball went out of bounds here, you didn't advance the ball back into play up here. You brought the ball back, and you put the ball back in play where it went out of bounds. This is the nature of the breakdown that we have as a society. The unwillingness for our people to actually account, to go back and reconcile. I'm saying that this day and the government that we will bring, the righteous government that our administration will bring to that house, will be founded in righteousness, and it will stand for reconciliation for all of the people. Your voice will matter. People ask me, why are you running for governor? Because it's about the people. The government and the governance piece of our administration will be for the people and by the people. Your voice will matter. And how will we govern? The governor is not king. You going to give me time?
Yeah, you said.
Thank you. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. The governor is not king. Although the governor of Hawaii, whether you know this or not, has more authority than any other governor in the nation. That authority is vested in him to appoint positions. So he appoints the chairman or the board of directors, the director of the Board of Health, DLNR, Department of Education, the Port Authority, the judicial branch, the Attorney General, all the way down the ticket. The governor in Hawaii makes those choices. So how do you govern and change the direction of a society? You change those choices. I can tell you already, we've started recruiting people so that when November comes, we will be ready to govern. There will be a governance piece in place that honor the thoughts and the dreams and the hopes of the people. There will be access for the people in their government. Currently, there's no access. Currently, there's plywood. Have you seen the plywood wall? That plywood wall represents everything that's wrong with our state. Every bad policy that you suffer under, the tyranny that we have as a people, the oppression that we have is directly connected to bad policy. These policies are made by legislatures. They frame laws. These laws are given to these departments. These departments in turn make policy that affects your life. We will put in place directors and deputy directors that will speak to the will of the people, period. So things like this, DLNR, the process that they have of deciding who gets land and who keeps land, this needs to be decided by the Hawaiian people if this is their land. They must have a say on what happens to their land. No longer shall the land that's set aside for agricultural purposes be given over and traded for people, developers, solar farms, wind farms. These facilities are placed on the most precious ground we have as a people. The water that was taken from the Waioli side and redirected to the Ewa side made it impossible for a farming industry, a produce generating industry on the windward side because there's not enough water. Joe mentioned it earlier. I say that we actually start the program of a desalination plant at Barbers Point. I say that we bring the ferry back for business, not for tourism and all that. but that we can bring back to our communities dairy, poultry, beef, produce. These kinds of industries will make us self-sufficient and not dependent on tourism. Once we can be self-sufficient and provide for ourselves, we can say, tourism, we've had enough. We've had enough tourists. 7 million is enough. Anybody? The strain that that's putting on our resources is unbearable. And that is being revealed in what happens in your lives. Anybody like your taxes? No. Taxes must come down across the board. The government is so bloated and it just sucks up the wealth of the people. Government does not make anything. It does not produce a single thing. All government does is suck up the wealth of the people. And my kids, my 2 daughters and our 7 grandkids 3 years ago said we have to leave Hawaii. They're born here. They're raised here. They wept. We wept for a year because they left Hawaii. Because why? The unbearable cost of living in Hawaii is directly related to bad policy coming out of that place down there. We must vote. You must stand. We're here together in unity today for liberty, but liberty is changed at the voting booth. We will stand with the organizations who long for liberty and create a platform for them to speak into government. Exactly what Gene's doing today. Exactly why you're here today. Don't you long for your voice to be heard? I just ask you, do you long for your voice? You gotta want your voice. A vision of people without a vision will perish. And I tell you that we will open up these departments and you'll have direct access to policy. The days of a few making decisions for all is over. The end of this has started 2 weeks ago when we declared our candidacy. I encourage you this day and throughout this week to make sure that you're registered to vote. This sounds like a gong. I moved 4 miles from Kaneohe to Kailua and found out that I wasn't registered. There's been redistricting. It's not an accident. This redistricting and these policies are designed to keep government in power. For the people in power, voters and elections are not about change, they're about control. The only way change happens is for people to exercise their right to vote. You must vote. I can't say it any simpler than that. I know the candidates are here share the same liberty principles that I'm standing for, and I'm just saying that 4 more years of this democratic machine, whether it's Green or Caldwell or Cayetano, I can tell you I don't know if we recover. I can tell you that we need righteous people in that house, people who fear God. And if they fear God, they'll know they're working for somebody besides themselves. The government must be accountable to the people. We will account to you. Our government will account and submit to the will of the people. So in humility and gratitude, 1 more minute. Thank you. I love that. I've done this before. So I just want to thank each of you tents. PJ, thank you. Len, mahalo. All of you folks over here, thank you. Thank you for coming out here today. May God bless you. May you know his riches, his abundance, that your abundance would not be squandered, would not be stolen from you. I agree with Joe. These things that Joe mentioned, they are not right. They are not Pono for this state. So I just share with you my heart today to say, come out and vote. Stand for the truth. Stand for the truth. It will make us free. So thank you very much. Aloha.